Well, it was just reported today that Alexander Povetkin's VADA test taken on May 17th came up negative. And this came from a statement by Ryabinsky, Alexander Povetkin's promoter. This is what he had to say. The new doping tests of the Russian boxer Alexander Povetkin, taken May 17th, 2016, showed no traces of meldonium. This was reported today by the Voluntary Anti-Doping Association with reference to the results of analyses conducted by the laboratory in Los Angeles. The sample taken a week earlier also lacks traces of meldonium. Thus, only one of Povetkin's 6 samples revealed extremely low concentrations of the prohibited drug. The new result proves that the positive sample in April was a residual effect of maldronate taken last year. If the drug was taken in the period between April 11th and 27th, traces would also have been found in the latest tests. You know, I'm really not sure what this all means because a lot of people are looking at this and saying, wow, this just proves that he didn't take the drug this year after January 1st. But this really proves nothing and explains nothing because, once again, Ryabinsky's making claims about this drug that supposedly is still being under investigation to determine excretion times. But for some reason, this boxing promoter, this Russian boxing promoter, seems to know more than WADA, VADA, and all of these Russian scientists because they are still looking at this drug and they have not determined yet how long it stays in an athlete's system. So why is he making these claims that he knows what amount should be in there, how long it should stay in the system, when, to my knowledge, this man does not have a background in pharmaceuticals and drugs and performance enhancing drugs? I just never knew he had that background. And if anyone can show me any evidence to suggest that he's qualified to make these statements, then please do. Listen, I have absolutely nothing against Alexander Povetkin. My whole problem is with the Povetkin defenders saying that anyone who suspects that he took this drug were either xenophobic, we hate him, or we don't like white people, or we don't like Eastern European people. Anyone that suspects that he took this drug this year. So, to me, this just adds even more speculation because this could mean a number of things. That that amount in his system worked its way through his system, and it at that time was gone when they took the May 17th test, which is quite plausible. And again, I'm not trying to accuse him of anything, but he could have been trying to flush the drug out of his system or use a masking agent, and finally it was, used to its fullest effect, so it was able to cover up the whole drug. Again, I don't know. Could have been a lot of things going on here. He could have been trying to detoxify himself, and, during that April 27th test, throughout the process of trying to detoxify himself of the drug, maybe a little bit was still left behind. Again, I don't know factually, but I know athletes. I know people in my gym who have passed drug tests, and I know how drug tests are passed, and I know how there's certain detox systems that you could use to flush a drug out of your system. I've seen many people do it. And again, I don't know what type of process there is for meldonium, but again, I've always said this. A lot of people, I suspect, are using PEDs. And I never think that the testing will ever catch up with the science. So I think there's going to be continuous ways of athletes learning how to beat these tests. And sometimes an athlete thinks he's smarter than he is, or the people working with that athlete think they're smarter than they are, and they could make a miscalculation here or there, and that's how come sometimes people get popped. Or, he could have done something stupid. Who knows? But again, this does not prove anything to me yet, unless they can come up with some evidence and some hard research that says how long this drug actually stays in your system, number one, or at least have some ballpark type figure, some estimate, number one. And number two, it needs to be determined if athletes take multiple tests, if some could come up negative and some can come up positive. We don't know that for sure yet. It's never been explained why these tests have come up negative, and there still has been that positive test on April 27th. That has still yet to be explained. And until that can be explained logically, then I don't think Alexander Povetkin is out of the woods yet. Now, the WBC could do anything here because it's up to them. It's their call, because we saw what happened with Francisco Vargas. He came up positive for clenbuterol, but he didn't get a B sample, number one. VADA stopped testing him, number two, and he was, tested by the commission. They continued to test him. The boxing commission, I believe it was the California State Athletic Boxing Commission, continued to test him. And, as a result of their testing, he came up negative. Now, is that right? No, I'm not defending Francisco Vargas, because the WBC, I think, made a mistake there because they ignored the VADA test results. They disregarded them. So again, my question is, are they going to do the same thing twice and face the same scrutiny, face the same criticism? Are they going to do the same wrong twice? We're just going to have to wait and see, because it is quite possible that they could not suspend Alexander Povetkin, and they could let him keep his mandatory status. But we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. Regardless of whatever happens, if it hasn't been proven that, without a shadow of a doubt, that he did not take this drug this year, then, we can still continue to speculate that he did, regardless of what happens. Because the WBC did allow a fighter who tested positive for a banned substance to go on and continue to fight. And he's going to fight this weekend. So are they going to allow it to happen twice and face the same criticism twice? We're going to have to wait and see. But in my opinion, this still doesn't prove to me that this drug was not taken this year. And that's the bottom line. So we'll see what happens. WBC can do anything. They can let this fight go on at a later date, or they can choose to suspend Alexander Povetkin. The ball is in their court. So nothing that I say or you say or anyone's opinion. VADA already revealed the test results. So they're not going to recommend anything to WBC because they have to stay neutral. So this is totally up to the WBC on what they're going to do. So we can only wait and see, as I said. That's all I got for now. Until next time, talk to y'all soon. Peace.